As Size Guy's friend Lucas enters the room, he seems really shocked. He tried asking him what was going on, but he said,
"It's nothing. Don't worry about it."
Despite Shocker's chill demeanor, he still thought there was something going on, especially because the school secretary, Mrs. Verrill, came in to talk with their teacher. Size Guy decided not to investigate. He had gotten into far too much trouble for being nosy. A few minutes later, the door opened and their teacher continued their lesson. There was nothing really important during class that he fully understood, but when class was over, he noticed Moonbite talking with one of the teachers. He asked him, "Hey, Size Guy, right? What's up?" Size Guy attempted to act cool by saying,
"Hey, me and a few other pals, we're going out camping just a few miles from here. But we need someone to drive us since none of us can drive yet. You can drive us, right? You have a car."
Moonbite thought for a while before saying, "Sure."
"Yeah, great. See you at 6.
He went to find his friends and told them the good news. Shocker finally didn't look like he saw the end of the world, as he high-fived Size Guy. Size Guy, Shocker, Sunfire, and Mark Storn, aka Morph, awaited their ride as the sun slowly fell behind the buildings. A sleek black sedan rolled up on the road next to him. Moonbite walked right out with a grin on his "What do you think?" Size Guy's jaw dropped.
"What? How could you have afforded this?"
he asked. Moonbite, "You'd be surprised. When I bought this thing, it was a large piece of rust. But me and my sister did a number on this thing. Even put a soda machine in it."
"How?"
Size Guy said. "Oh, and one more thing?" Moonbite exclaimed.
"You know what?
"Don't throw up
Down
in the
the road."
car or you're gonna walk to the campsite." They were reaching the edge of the city when the radio buzzed.
"We got a 1071 at Satori Bank. Over."
Moonbite paused for a long moment before finally saying, "Sorry guys, our camping trip is..." Sunfire said, eagerly cracking his knuckles. "No, you're going to wait here. I'm gonna deal with these crooks." They parked a distance from the bank. The night was quiet, weirdly quiet for a city. "Okay, I'll be back in 20 minutes. Stay here." He closed the door behind him, then turned the corner and... Size Guy turned to Shocker. Shocker exclaimed. They caught sight of Moonbite entering
"Bet you 20
Satori
bucks
Bank
he's got
through the
a
vents. Size Guy shrunk them down to the size of a pen. Then they entered the vents.
If you guys are sneaking in,
Moonbite.
don't forget.
For him, the vents were maybe 3/4 of an arm's length tall. But for them, it was like a giant, never-ending hallway. They entered a small room with the door to the vault being guarded by 2 crooks. Moonbite hovered silently above them. Size Guy watched through the vents with his peers, trying not to make a sound. Moonbite pulled a small disc from his pocket and clicked a button on it, then dropped it to the floor. Smoke exploded from the disc, blinding the criminals as he dropped to the ground. Size Guy couldn't see what was happening, but heard someone getting punched, then someone slipping, although it wasn't the criminal. The dust settled, and they saw the first criminal knocked out cold, and Moonbite on the floor in a slight daze, rubbing his head. Sunfire eagerly exclaimed. He leaped through the vents as Size Guy tapped his foot, enlarging him back to its normal size. Moonbite noticed instantly as Sunfire attempted to shoot fire at the second criminal. The criminal dodged at the last second as it blew up in flames. "What are you doing here?" Moonbite exclaimed. Sunfire sneered. Smoke rose to the roof, activating the smoke alarm. Sprinklers sprayed from the roof, putting out the flames and announcing the hero's presence to the rest of the criminals. Size Guy said.
Good thing you're...
Yeah,
Said Shocker.
my electricity would have knocked out everybody.
Shocker's powers would go haywire when he was in contact with water, zapping everything soaked. It had a range though, so he couldn't just fry the whole ocean. Moonbite and Sunfire were quickly swarmed, surrounded by maybe 10. Great, now we're trapped in here. Moonbite muttered, scanning the room for an escape route.
Hey, at least they're putting up a good fight. Makes it
Sunfire replied with a grin, unfazed by the overwhelming odds against them.
a bit more fun, don't you think? Nice.
Fun isn't exactly what I had in mind. Moonbite shot back, clenching his fist and preparing for the onslaught. One of the goons, a towering brute with a tattoo-covered neck, lunged forward with a baseball bat. Moonbite dodged to the side, grabbing the thug's wrist and using his super strength to fling him across the room. The thug crashed into a marble pillar, shattering it into pieces. Sunfire laughed, flames flickering around his fists.
Nice throw. But watch this!
He turned to face a pair of advancing goons, unleashing a torrent of fire. The intense heat forced the thugs to dive for cover behind the bank's massive wooden counters. The sprinklers struggled to keep up with the blaze, and soon a dense fog of steam filled the room. The heat was intense, and Moonbite could feel sweat dripping down his back. The environment was quickly becoming a furnace, with a mix of water and fire making it hard to see. "You're gonna burn this whole place down!" Moonbite shouted over the cacophony of water and flames.
My bad.
Retorted Sunfire. Moonbite rolled his eyes, realizing that the lack of coordination was going to be a bigger problem than the criminals themselves. With a deep breath, Moonbite launched himself into the air, took in the chaotic scene below. Sunfire was engaged with 3 thugs at once, ducking and weaving around their clumsy attacks. Meanwhile, the other criminals were trying to regroup, attempting to corner the 2 heroes. Time to change the odds, Moonbite thought. He swooped down, using his momentum to crash into the group of thugs trying to flank Sunfire. The impact sent them sprawling, and Moonbite quickly incapacitated them with a series of precise punches, each one delivered with the force of a wrecking ball. Meanwhile, Sunfire was making short work of his own adversaries. With a quick succession of fiery blasts, he sent the remaining goons scattering, their weapons clattering uselessly to the floor. For a brief moment, the room was silent, except for the hiss of sprinklers and the distant wail of sirens growing closer. Moonbite and Sunfire stood amidst the wreckage, the bank's once pristine interior now resembling oh.
Looks like we did it.
Sunfire said, brushing off the dust from his hoodie with a satisfied smirk. Yeah, but the place is trashed, Moonbite replied, surveying the damage. The floor was littered with debris, and the air was filled with smoke and the acrid smell of burnt wood.
We'll call it a redesign.
Sunfire joked, but Moonbite's expression remained serious. We need to work on our teamwork, Moonbite said, shaking his head. We can't keep doing this, or we'll end up causing more damage than the bad guys.
We'll get there.
Sunfire shrugged, unfazed by the destruction around him.
Besides, a little bit of collateral damage never hurt anyone.
Moonbite rolled his eyes. Are Size Guy and Shocker here too? Did anyone listen to me? Sunfire pointed to the only vent conveniently still standing after the fight. They tried to run, but Moonbite reached his hand into the vent and grabbed them. You guys need to listen more often, Moonbite said, clearly annoyed. Moonbite paused for a moment, weighing the outcomes before finally I guess I could have died without you guys. I'm still getting used to all the side effects of losing an eye. Thanks.
You're welcome,
Sunfire exclaimed with a The sirens rang through the block. The criminals were being loaded into a SWAT truck. Moonbite was getting an earful on the phone. Despite not having his phone on speaker, they could practically hear them. Size Guy scanned the area, attempting to spot any strap. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw something on a nearby building, and he turned and saw a gargoyle staring back at him. It seemed strange. For a second, he even thought he saw a pair of glowing red eyes staring at him. But with a closer look, it was just a regular stone garden.
And now, our feature presentation.
The only cure for humanity, and he's like, and he would call, and Zeke would be like, well, too bad, I'm eating right now, so I can't really get that.
Hold up. This is the start of the 7-hour video I'm putting on your phone. Cause why not? This is the army we have.
Die before that happens.
Oh, you're right. It's at like 8%. Womp womp. Have fun.
Missiles. So Nolan.
Hand over the phone.
So this is their army right now. Yeah, don't break these. This is what y'all are gonna fight with. Yeah. Now we do you.
Oh. Hand skills. Oh. You got it? Oh.
My.
Did I break it?
He's okay.
I'm so sorry. We're good.
He's okay.
I only hit one.
Fine. Never do that again. Y'all don't see.
Knees weak, arms are sweaty, the bottom are sweaty already. Top spaghetti. Oh, sauna.
Guys, the official
I killed myself.
the official voice actor for Shocker and Sunfire is dead. What are we gonna do? Alright, Peyton, you're playing two men.
This is what I did.
Playing too bad.
The door was like this, and then I just went into the door.
You hit my face. My face was against the door. And I went directly.
I please line.
Hola, soy Dom.
Sorry this one took a little while. Stuff happened in between, but yeah, we're finally out with it, and thank you to all the voice actors who made this possible. Wonder what Ravina's up to.